Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sufi Pasha and I'm the second speaker. As the second speaker of the affirmative team, I would like to rebut or refute some of the first negative team's arguments. I would like to restate and the affirmative team's case stands that globalization reduces national culture, and I would like to present some more arguments to support and drive home our stance. But first, my rebuttals. As my first speaker already said, we have limited our discussion or our debate to talk about the negative impacts of globalization. And as the first speaker of the opposition still mentioned the positive impact, this means that they are not really listening to our argument. My second rebuttal is that they want to improve the national culture, and how can they, and the way that they provide the mechanism to improve the national culture is through technology. But the problem here is that, as my first speaker states, most young people and most of the early generation do not want to learn or do not want to accept their own national culture because they prefer the global culture. And my last rebuttal is that our stance, since our experience about another point that the opposition team made is that we can share our experience about culture. Yes, that's true. But what's the advantage of that? In this motion, we are talking about the globalization reduces national culture, and we're not talking about global culture or any other cultures other than the cultures of Indonesia. Now I'll go to my argument. Like my first speaker already said, the national culture that will be reduced is not limited to the form of arts and craft. So it's not limited to just a dance or maybe sort of the arts field of that nature, but it also reduces the identity, the values, and the sense of community in our nation. Things like mutual cooperation or Royong, as we all know, is part of our national culture and our national identity. We want to help others because of our shared experiences during the colonialization era. And the impact of this is that more people will tend to be individualistic. By that, what I mean by that is that the global culture tends to be more individualistic, more capitalistic, more it focuses on your own self-interest rather than the interest of other people or your community. And our next stance is that the mental effect of a changing and a reduced national culture is far outweighs the benefits of the globalization culture. What I mean by that is that, for example, like I said before, Indonesia has the culture or has the tradition of mutual cooperation, and by increasing the amount of by accepting more of the global culture, which is individualistic, it creates more of a sense of more room or more space for people to feel left out or feel alone, feel things of that nature. My second point is that the disappearance of national culture reduces the uniqueness and the appeal of our nation towards other countries. This reduction in uniqueness lowers the appeal of tourists who want to come to Indonesia to look for that cultural appeal, because Indonesia is heavily dependent on the tourism industry, and the impacts of this reduction in appeal is that more people who rely on the tourism industry and more people who use tourism as a means of economic gain or means of income will lose their source of income. And next, I would like to state the best case. In the best case, when globalization affects our national culture, our national culture will be similar to the global economy. But in the worst case, we will be left behind as just another country in the world. What I mean by that is we will stay as the third world country, and we will always follow the developed countries and never succeed and never become first world. And last but not least, I would like to say that the disappearance of the wide range of cultures in Indonesia have a tremendous impact in a country that, like Indonesia, that is known for its culture. And this loss of culture is extremely bad for our ancestors who have developed and built that culture. I think that's enough for me. Thank you.
The second speaker of affirmative team spans 6 minutes 21 seconds.
I thank the second affirmative speaker for his speech. The next speaker is the second speaker of negative team. Please come forward for you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity has given to me. So, good morning everyone, and the honorable educator and the nice audience here. Okay, so we as the negative state, we still doesn't agree with the motion that this House believes that globalization reduces our national cultures. Okay, so here, I as the second speaker, I will deliver my argument and why instead globalization can rises and can make more beneficial impact to our national cultures. And first, I want me to take a look to the first statement of my negativity. My first speaker that globalization is the word used to describe the growing interdependence of national cultures and groups economy, cultures, and population. And here, national cultures is meant that the norms, behaviors, beliefs, customs, and values shared to the other people of a sovereign nation. Okay, but before I deliver my argument as the second speaker of negative state, here I would like to rebuttal but the statement from the affirmative state. Okay, so the first is about the using growth technology. Yes, so you say that from this technology, globalization bring a best effect for our students, for Indonesian students, for our children. But from the first speaker said that we can share our national culture to the global or foreign nation, to foreign people. So here we can just promote and we can just interact with the other people and we can share about the richness of Indonesian national culture. And the second segment is about globalization can reduce the identity and the sense of collaboration. And also you mentioned about that globalization make people more individual and not caring to the others. Yes, I think it's not make sense argument because instead we make more individual because of the globalization. Globalization can be seen as a positive view. And here, we as Indonesian people, we as local people, we can interact with the other and we can share and we can like chat with the foreign people, and we can invite them to come to Indonesia and represent our culture. And from that, the foreign people will interest in our Indonesian culture. And I'm gonna move to my argument about the positive impact of globalization for national culture. The first is preserving our culture. So, with the help of globalization and the influence of globalization for national culture, we will learn and thought. Yes, the first speaker said that globalization will impact the technology. Yeah, from the technology media, and for example, from the social media, we can interact with different people, and we can know their behavior, and we can be more active in promote and share and post about the activity and the enrichment of our culture, and we can take attention for it, and we will take aware that our culture is rich and we must proud of it. So because of this, it can be influenced for the young people, for the young generation in Indonesia. That Indonesia is a rich country, so we as an Indonesian people must preserve it. And according to the sociology journal from Nusantara dan Kupang, it's revealed that the preservation can be influenced in young age, and they can more learn and they can more loving their culture and more increase their culture sense to love the country. And the next is about from open-minded, which is related to the psychology. It says that from the University of Andalas, from globalization can open the local people mindset, and from the technology it can increase, and they can learn the value of respectness. Yes, because of that, the local people can learn the behavior of the foreign people, so the local people can learn how to serve the local people and how to make them comfort to come to Indonesia, and they can serve them goodly to make them enjoy and in watching our culture, our performance culture. So because of that, and the next is to promotion. Yes, because the local people have known how to serve the foreign language. So the foreign people, so they can make interaction with them, and they can make a promotion like a performance promotion. And in education also we can make student exchange, which is from our students can attract the other foreign students to know that Indonesia is great. And the last is for economy. Yes, according to the scientific journal of economics of UIN or private university, that globalization can increase the income of local people, and they can manage their income and make more creative in doing and preserve the national culture of Indonesia. So with this economic, they can manage their income, and they can be more creative in performing the wonderful and nice performance of Indonesian national culture. And I think that's enough from the second speaker of Mendalis Day. Thank you.
The second speaker of Politehnik spent 6 minutes 42 seconds.
I thank the second speaker for your speech. Let's continue with the third speaker of affirmative speech. Please come forward to the podium. Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, honorable educators, speakers, and audiences. My name is Pratili. I am the third speaker of the affirmative team. On this podium, I will rebut the opposition team, restate my first speaker and second speaker of my team, and summarize all points on this motion. First, I will rebut the opposition team. Okay. For rebut, this motion. This motion is talking about globalization reduces the national culture. The actual problem of this motion in Indonesia is we have a lot of culture. We have our identity, spatialness, uniqueness, and also becoming characteristic of our country. Not only that, the habit of the society of Indonesia, like helping each other, is also one of our values. In that, our team has limited that this motion is talking about the negative impacts of globalization to our rich and divine national culture, not only regional culture, but also values, needs, and our field of life as a nation. Next, I will move to my remarks. First of all, the opposition team is talking about the globalization will improve our science and technology. What I want to rebut is that, yes, we might be better in science and technology, but we would like to be just anybody else on this earth. Without preserving our culture, we will lose our identity, what makes us different as a nation. Next is sharing culture to foreigners. The opposition team talking about sharing our culture to foreigners. Many of our cultural places and delicacies are in the brink of extinction. By massive development of Western tourist areas like villas, beach clubs, especially in places with many foreign tourists like Bali, Nusa Tenggara Barat, and places with many foreign tourists. Next, the opposition team keep talking about the benefits of globalization. Our motion today is how globalization reduces our national cultures. The opposition team fails to prove that globalization does not reduces our national culture. The opposition team is also talking about comfort for the foreign tourists. What about our comfort? We own this land. We must preserve our values. As we know that one of the recent cases is that 100-year-old tree, a very preserved, and also a delicacy of Bali, was cut down by a developer to build a luxurious villa. What about our comfort? That we only doing only thinking about the comfort of our tourists. What about our own people? And also, the opposition team is talking about Indonesia should preserve the culture. How do we possibly preserve our culture if we already getting reduced by globalization? And then, the opposition team also talking about the beneficial, as they already talking, is that they fail to prove that globalization does not reduce our culture. And the opposition team keeps talking about foreign people. What about our people? The foreign people will come to our country. Yes, they already did right now. Second speaker already told you how the process of globalization affecting the tourism. If the globalization runs this country, means it can reduce the uniqueness of our region culture and it can affect the tourism itself. If we do not have our distinctness anymore, what is the point of they coming here? To party? To go to villas and clubs? Is that what they want to come here? They come here to see our national culture. If we fail to preserve this from globalization, the foreign tourist does not have anything to come for anymore. Last of my rebuttal, there are so many arguments of them that just talking about the advantages of technology without talking why the globalization didn't reduce our national country. They have failed to prove that globalization does not reduce our national culture. That is all from me. Thank you.
The third speaker of affirmative spent 7 minutes 24 seconds.
And then the third affirmative speaker for this speech. Let's call the third speaker of legalistic. For the third speaker of legalistic, please come forward to the podium.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, the educators and the members of this house. Thanks for the opportunities that given to me. I am Aulia Shafik as third speaker in negative thing. In this, I will strengthen our team argument for this motion today is this house believes that globalization reduces national culture, and we as negative team totally disagree with this motion. But before we go into our argument with sample, proof, and data, I will rebuttal that affirmative team said. Government team said it's not agree if globalization cannot reduce the national culture. Then we will bring proof that globalization is not reduce national culture. Globalization is not reduce culture, but it increase and maintain culture to stay exist because without globalization, national culture will be left behind. In this era, if we are using globalization, especially using beneficial of globalization, this natural culture will be left behind. We can take simple example. Initially, Japanese culture is left behind, but we know Nikan Salindri as seen that using through social media like TikTok to put interest among the people, especially Gen Z. So that which technology, which is TikTok, it can impress many of people to stay exist in Japanese culture. So that globalization can come back and start by culture again because globalization provides and facilitates to maintain culture. And then we will strengthen our team argument for the point of view is about technology and science. University Muhammad Riyadi mentioned that the effect of globalization on culture, information, technology, and education in this journal mentioned that globalization gives good impact and culture, especially in how globalization provides culture to more creative and suitable with this era. With variation and knowledge on technology, we can facilitate culture to more developed. Then, repository University Islam Negeri of Susta mentioned in their journal that globalization also provides many of benefits like research culture to stay access and popular with collaboration with globalization. Then we move and next argument of my team is Berpusat Publishing with the journal titled The Influence of Globalization on Indonesia Culture to Perfect Culture. For example, sustainability in culture, especially because culture is not useful or did not have differences in this era as well, but being left on many people, so globalization provides from technology and knowledge for maintaining the culture. And then next, globalization also gives impact and sociology. We will be open in another culture like Indonesia have many culture, so they will be respect with other culture in Indonesia usually. Then we move and economic point of view, we can through promotion provide globalization. We can exchange the information of cultural language. Although also globalization is can pleasant for promotion. And from economic point of view, also globalization almost can give income to local people, so they can more increase facilities, make the permanent culture is more wonderful and extraordinary. Kwara State College of Education in this journal mentioned an impact of globalization of culture mentioned that since globalism of culture in this era implement culture more knowing and many of that mention also the important we understand impact of cultural difference and globalization because globalization is sure phenomenon and the culture is really happening right now. So we can stay combat with illustration with this. A journal name also mentioned that through globalization we can stay maintain the culture through TikTok, like or YouTube with population. So can we stay mention the globalization with acculturation the culture? Okay, then based on data, based and proof and based farming sample, I am as a third speaker totally disagree. This motion today is this House believe that globalization reduce national culture is not stand. Thank you.
The third speaker of negative view spent 5 minutes 14 seconds.
Negative speaker for this speech. Now it's time for incident to give reply speaker. Its team has 5 minutes to conclude reply speeches. It will be started by the negative speaker. For the reply speaker of negative team, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity has given to me. So, good morning everyone, and the honorable educator and the nice audience, participant, and all of the community here. Okay, I'm as a reply speaker of negative team, and here I want to summarize and conclude about the argument that has been stated by the affirmative and negative team. And I also want to compare what the data has been stated by the two teams. And we, as a negative team, we here is strongly doesn't agree about the motion that globalization can reduce the national cultures. The first, I want to highlight on the statement and the definition of the globalization itself. So the globalization is the word used to describe the growing independence and also the influence of the Western and the world's economy and cultures and the population. And about the limitation that has been stated by the affirmative team is about globalization reduce not only reduce national culture and not only in relation but also in the values itself. And from the affirmative team, from the first, second, and the third speaker, they are mentioned some argument that reduces the identity and sense of collaboration, and also globalization 10% more individual and not caring to the others. And the next is globalization has two negative factors for citizens, and that want to change and the death of the national culture. Yes, and also the affirmative team said that globalization have a lot of culture that unique and identities and helping each other and Western culture. And we move to the statement that has been stated by the negative team. So from the first speaker of negative team, it said that globalization in terms of national culture, it can share our experience about the schools, about the social and cultures, and also the opportunity to develop the technological development. And the next one, the second speaker, is mentioned about the preserving culture and open-minded and promotion, and also about the economy. So, with the preserving culture, so here globalization it reveals that it can preserve the national culture because it can make an impact for the young generation, for the young schools, for teens, that they will be has more sense in loving their country, and also not only loving in their country, also to loving the culture and to proud of it. And also for the open-minded, for the psychology is for local people, they can be respect to the other national culture. So here in Indonesia, it has widely and so many national culture. So with the globalization, the people will, the local people will have an open-minded and respect to the other culture region. And the next is about the promotion. Okay, so the local people with the globalization, they can promote their national culture and they can invite the foreign people to come and to make improve our national culture. And the last is about the economy, because with the economy, the local people can make an income, so they can manage their creativity to develop the national culture. Okay, so if we compare it, the negative thing has more data and it's very relatable with the current era. So it reveals that globalization, it doesn't reduce national culture, but instead it increases the digital culture and also to preserve our national culture of Indonesia. So we believe that as a negative speakers, that globalization it has a more beneficial impact to our national culture. So in the conclusion here, I am as the reply speaker of negative thing is doesn't agree strongly with this motion, and we believe that globalization can have a beneficial and good impact to our national culture. And thank you. That's a lot from me.
The reply speaker of negative field spent 4 minutes 58 seconds.
I thank for the voice speaker of negative field for this speech. Now it's time for the other participant to deliver the reply speech. Please come to the podium.
It's okay. No problem.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and also the panels. Okay, our motion today is this House believe that the globalization reduced the national culture. And here, as the reply speaker, I'll give you the clash of the debate. Also, I'll give you my arguments and also the opposition team's arguments. And also, I'll give the conclusions or the summary of this debate. Okay, going to the first. The clash of this debate is because this motion is about the globalization reduces the national culture. It should be the government team that we already done is we agree that the globalization reduces the national culture, and the opposition team should give us the proof that the globalization isn't reduce the national culture. And we as the government team already give to you the argument, and the opposition also give us the argument. The argument of the opposition team is like the science and technology that will give the positive impact. Also, they give the beneficial of the globalization and the technology. Also, they also mentions about the improve of the culture without any give the mechanism. All of this, I can conclude or we give the conclusions that all of this argument or the argument, they still mentions about the advantages of the technology itself. They didn't realize what's the meaning of the globalization. I already mentioned in the first speaker that globalization is including all of the sections of this era. And they talk about the advantages of technology and didn't realize about the motions. They didn't prove to us by the data or like by the written proof or the status quo what's their argumentations according to the globalization not reducing the national culture. Also, going to the next, I want to convey that our argument is stronger than the opposition team. Because of what? Because the problem that we have is more logical. We realize that the entering of the globalization to our country reduced the national culture, and it already, I told to you before, there are so many that are they proved now. So that we have the limitation here also, that the globalization that we are talking about is the negative impact of the globalization. And according to our limitations that we are talking about the national culture not just the national culture in the form of the dancing, housing, or the region culture, but also in the value, in the deeds, in the point of view of the national, because it's already defined by me as the resource that I said before. According to our argument, why the argument is more stronger? Because first, we already give you the proof that the globalization entering our country will reduce the identity itself from Indonesia, and it can create the distinction of the units of the region itself or of the national culture itself. Also, we can create the identity crisis of the Indonesia. Also, the opposition team already mentioned about the economic impact by tourism and so on and so forth. And also, I'll say that the economic impact in the our side of the world, our side of the house, it will also be achieved by like the my second speaker already talked to you like about the impact of the tourism, the distinction, and so on and so forth. So, I as the reply speaker, I want to remind you again, this motion is about the globalization reduce the national culture. In conclusion, we as the government team already talked to you about the proof, about the data, and about what is the definition of the globalization, about the national culture, and also we already give you also the argument of why this globalization really reduce our culture in Indonesia. Okay, and then I can say that with all of this already talked by the first speaker and the second speaker and the third speaker of the government team of the house, we as the government team should win this debate because of all of that I can tell to you in the lately. Okay, thanks. I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum.